So ek sal baie daar kom ek in die veld, dan lê ek hier op my rug, lê ek dood. Dan luister vir die are wat so speel te mekaar, wat so vryf te mekaar. Dan praat ek met my koring en gesels met dit. Jy moet 'n groot respek hê vir boerdery. Ou moenie net boerdery gaan vat en sê ek gaan vandag boer. Dit moet in jou bloed wees, in jou are. Jy moet droom van boerdery. Ek is gebore vir die boerdery, ek like dit. Ek is Thomas Kittekat. Ek is gebore in Slangevuur. Ek is 'n boer, ek boer met graan. Ek het vir 'n kommersiële boer gewerk, 23 jaar. En ek het vir hom gesê ek wil meer as 'n gewone arbeider wees. En ek wil vir my familie en ander daar buite in my dorp wil ek wys dat jy kan vir jouself iets doen. En hy het gesê Tommy, as jy dit wil doen, dis harde werk en die hoogste boom gaan die meeste wind vat. En ek het gesê ek sal die uitdaging sal ek vat met al my hande en ek het dit gedoen en hy het my begin te leer. En na die 23 jaar het ek self begin te boer. So wat jy doen is jy boer, jy vat die aag en jy vryf hom uit. Nou ga jy kyk hoeveel reën jy gehad het, hoe jou put gevorm het en allerlei. Boerdery is hard werk. Die insetkoste maak ons dood. Jy moet geld hê om te plant. Jy moet geld hê om te spuit. So Tigerbrain het ingekom, so hy het ons ondersteun en hy het ons gehelp om te plant. Hy het al die insetkoste gegee. Hy het die kunsmis gegee, hy het die saad, die koringsaad gegee. Hy help ons met die bespuiting. As hulle nie ingekom het nie, dan was die deur vir ons toe. Ek kon ons nie geplant het vir jare.
Tigerbrain is one of Africa's biggest food manufacturers that is very heavily reliant on agricultural produce as its inputs. That means the inputs that we are requiring don't make it very easy for your smallholder and small-scale farmers to participate simply because of the tonnage that we require. How do we take that challenge and transform our supply chains to allow for these smallholder farmers to become a part of our supply chain process? The magic comes in the aggregator model.
The Tigerbrain's agriculture aggregator model is where we want black farmers to be in groups. They can then be part of our supply chain because now we have done an aggregation of all of them. They are able to fulfill to capacity and to the standard that we require. I'm Supumelele Mabunda. We work with black SMMEs. We assisted them with input finance, agrarian support, technical support, as well as business development support. So when we visited the Western Cape farmers, most of them are scattered around Caledon and Swellendam is where some of the four farmers are. We embarked on two projects, one in the Western Cape and one in the Northwest. The one in Western Cape, we worked with 10 first ever black wheat and oats farmers to ever be in the supply chain for Tigerbrain. One of the ones that I truly remember because of his personality was Tommy Skitterkat. So he's part of the aggregator model that is called Four Farmers. Tommy is a small-scale farmer, but because he's part of an aggregator, he is now a supplier to Tigerbrain.
I feel very passionately about this because I believe very strongly in economic inclusion. You know, how do we build South Africa's economy so we allow those who have previously not been able to participate in this to participate? Spumelele is the hands and feet on the ground that is helping us manage this aggregator. We are excited that we've managed to get young people like Pumi to also be interested in agriculture and transformation.
I'm currently in the Northwest in Taung to visit some of the farmers that are in the Papuru Chwana production incubator. They are one of the incubators that we are working with as an aggregation model to also supply us with wheat. This is the starting project, and so far it has really yielded some good results because they have been able to plant 300 hectares for Tigerbrain, and we have provided them with the input finance for that. Thank you very much for coming through to meet with me today. It was very important for us as Tigerbrain to come out and see who we have supported. So I'm very glad to see that your fields are looking Beautiful. Is it helpful that once we provide you guys with the input finance, you also have the access to the markets, which again is Tiger Brands, because we take then the production that you guys have made?
You cannot plant when there is no market. You have to get a market. So the assistant of Tiger Brand had helped us major. With regard to market, we are not struggling anymore. The success will bring more farmers in.
Yes.
We don't want to go and look for farmers. They will come and look for us. I grew up in a farming family. You went to school on a Friday, you have to go to the farm and assist your mother to remove the weeds. That time you use hands to harvest, and that's where I started loving this thing. The big challenge that we have working as an individual was the market. 2 was to source funds. And the critical one was a communal land. We only have user right that we receive from the chief. We started from 10 hectares. I'm asking myself a question, can I be a commercial farmer with a 10 hectares? It's impossible.
Most of these farmers, they would be part of a communal property association that would provide the land for them to utilize. Here's a model that allows for that land to be properly utilized to ensure that economic activity takes place. The key and the most important part is extending interest-free loans to those farmers so that they are able to afford to buy the seeds, afford to buy the fertilizers, and afford to pay salaries while they are waiting for the harvest to happen.
We are a team. We combine our hectareage, and it's easy for us to get even market. It's easy for us even to get fund. And the more thing that I love more is guys I'm working with. We're always together, even weekends, even Sundays, we are together. I've got 2 daughters. Every season I tell them I have run a loss, I have run a loss, I have run. They are getting tired. But since we are coming into this model, I said, ladies, we have changed the model now. We are working as a team, we are working together. And the first time when we are working as a team, we make profit.
Northwest being one of the poverty nodes of South Africa, by supporting some of the farmers, they are then able to support other people by employing them. By us also providing the market, that is also security of tonnage and security of jobs.
This area is called Bosile. I'm a manager here. My name is Mbulelo. My surname is Dao. My duty is to check if all system runs well. It's a probe. To measure the water. We have an app in our phone.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
The next round must be on Saturday.
On Saturday, yes.
I was born here in Taung. When I was 4 years, my grandfather used to take me to the farm every day. So that's why I say it's in my blood. When I was at school in Kimberley, we used to argue with other guys. What do you want to achieve? I end up saying, I want to own a farm. So my father was suffering because he had to come to the field. Early in the morning and afternoon, you have to go back home to check the cattle. He sat down and said, I'm getting too much old. Come and help me. I saw, oh, that answer that I give you to now is chasing me. Farmers here are amazing. When I was being introduced here, there were old farmers that I found here. They grew me because I learned things from them, the way they tackle challenges. An individual smallholder is a 10 hectare. Chemicals are the increasing fertilization seed. So a 10 hectare is not good enough. So BPI came with the idea of, no, let's work as a team to build a farming community. Tiger Brands is a lifesaver on this scheme to build us as farmers because we can't be always imaging. If Tiger Brand gets in 100% and walk this path with us, in years we'll be commercial farmers also.
Even with 57 farmers in the wheat aggregator, they're providing less than 1% of what we require. So the opportunity for growth is quite significant. Tiger Brands also provides the right cultivars to enable them to deliver at scale, but at the level of quality that we're looking for.
Come and look at this one, guys. This is the bad one. Hey, who gets a
My name is Kididimetse Khadebe. I grew up in the village of Mokasawan in Taung. My mother was a hard worker in farming, and we used to come with her to see that In 1989, I had to go to work in Joburg as assistant nurse. And then I got married there. You know, the challenges of the marriage, and we had to break up and then come back home. When I come back, there's no job. You can see this is a village. Poverty is in town. I had to sell some goods. With that money, I had be able to go to the farm to plant there. I've planted 3 farms, which is 21 hectares. Tiger Brand have helped me. I managed to build a house. I managed to pay the bill of my car from that farming.
As BPI, as well as Tiger Brands, we are so that we can grow you guys into a much bigger commercial space than you are already. But today, I'm more pleased to see the mothers of the nation are here with us.
Amen.
Because as Tiger Brands, that is something that is very important to us.
When you put funding in the hands of women, it actually goes towards doing those right things like educating the children, ensuring that the family is sustainable. That's the key to the development of society as a whole.
There's a light that I can see that it's coming on our lives. We've got 37 ladies or women in our cooperative. From this 37, we are 4 in BPI at the moment. But they are so interested when they hear and when they see what we are doing. Yes, definitely there will be change.
So we are transforming the sector.
You are transforming, I'm telling you.
One bit at a time, ne?
Kijk, ons 10 boeren zien ons nou die pad wat ons kan loop met hulle. Hulle het gevoel hoe klop ons agter en ons het geluister na hulle. En ons sien kans om met hulle 'n langtermynpad te stap.
Tiger Brands as a company, our fortunes are so inextricably linked to the fortunes of ordinary South Africans. It's building Tiger Brands' own sustainable future to create an inclusive economic system.
Dreams are free, right? So for me, it started out at a young age where I used to look at the stars and I used to think, I know the world is so much bigger than it actually is, and I know the universe is even bigger. It was a dream of wanting to be out there and wanting to look back down on the earth. I guess I'm a rocket scientist.
The SAB Foundation set up with a very specific mandate of benefiting entrepreneurs in South Africa. By setting up a foundation, you ensure that the benefit really does flow to those economically excluded. Growing the economy, creating employment, and education. Those are the most important things South Africa needs to do. SAB Foundation is like a microcosm of addressing those issues. It's an independent trust with priority on women, youth, people in rural areas, and people with disabilities.
For us as the foundation, we're really looking for solutions that solve social problems but are underpinned by a business model which can prove sustainability.
We support young South Africans who have actually, many of them, given up lucrative career opportunities to work on something that they're really passionate about, trying to solve a social problem in South Africa.
Ah, nice. So when you're charging it, you just plug it in like that. And my name is Ntato Moachi, born and raised in Soweto, and now I run a startup called Crisp Design.
Ntato, really, his energy says it all. He's a highly qualified engineer. He's done work with some of the biggest producers in the country. Ntato was the overall winner of the Social Innovation Awards. They were awarded about 1.2 million to work on their prototyping.
We call it the digital divide. It keeps growing bigger and bigger between the developed world and the developing world. We are a for-profit company that wants to create social impact. And our first product that we created was the low-cost educational robotics toy, which is a set of tools that we implement into schools in order to teach kids about robotics and coding for the 4th Industrial Revolution. So inside your kids, you'll see that you've got a blue block, right? Tell me what it says at the bottom. Power. So it says power, right? Yeah. We align with the CAPS curriculum that focuses on the 4 C's: communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. Even if they get an hour with a robot, it is so much more than them not knowing anything at all. So what is a robot?
It's a thing that you can do anything.
Can do anything. And who builds a robot?
Me.
This kind of project is what we look for when we look at accessibility around education, which addresses issues around youth empowerment, and how do we make certain technologies that a school in the rural areas in the township, that those kids also have the opportunities to work with these technologies and be prepared for the future as much as a kid in private school would.
I wanted to become a medical doctor. I went to a school in a rural area because that's where I grew up. But then when I got to university, I realized, oh, I'm not actually very much prepared. I actually didn't know a lot of things. When you get to university, your very first session, they allocate you a bench space with all these items inside. Then you look at the list and you're like, what are these things? I lost a lot of confidence and I thought maybe, I'm not supposed to be a medical doctor. I recognized a lot of other students that were going through a similar problem. I said to myself, man, I'm the person to do something about this. We make a portable science kit for young people to do science experiments to help them become scientists. We provide the physical science kit and teacher training. The science kit unleashes their confidence and they can approach their learning from that point where they know what they're doing.
But Abile recognizes that so many low-income schools don't have access to science labs, and obviously science is critical for the future.
The SAB Foundation money came right at the time to help us buy chemicals and all these other things. That funding gave us access to a mentor. It helped create a relationship with suppliers. We could actually open an account. We've probably grown like 4 times since that first time when I had the interaction with them. I wouldn't be where I am if they didn't get involved in helping us grow.
We have a number of those types of innovations, over 100, that we have supported.
SAB saw the potential in our idea to have commercial success. Solving the problems of capacity, financial support, business development, that's where SAB is really strong. They understand what social entrepreneurship is and what social entrepreneurs need. They don't just give you funding, they also give you business support and mentorship.
Trying to inject an economy into a rural area is quite challenging, particularly because many rural areas are quite far from markets. We've created a special focus on rural opportunities which are high in their job creation potentials.
My name is Njabulo Sithole. Some they know me as Blessing Njabulo Sithole. I run Baker's Creations. I'm the founder, and I like cakes. I always felt inferior because of being based in a rural area. I had fear. I wanted to do something different for my community. We don't have employers in the area except the government programs, which are not sustainable. I wanted to uplift my community. So in fact, our staff is 100% from the local community. I wanted to contribute positively in my community. I met the SAB Foundation. They were looking into supporting small businesses. In fact, they already had an existing program. We've been able to grow from supplying the local schools to supplying the local spaza shops, Spar stores, Pick and Pay Express shops, checkout stores, and quite a few other independent supermarkets as well.
By changing that entrepreneur's life, you are changing so many people's lives around them. We measure ourselves against job creation, turnover growth, and the third is social impact. We've seen 101% growth in turnover in our businesses over the last 5 years.
Welcome to the Deaf Empowerment Firm. Our side name is DF. Welcome.
We've also discovered how incredibly poorly people with disabilities are treated in South Africa. We have a special category called the Disability Empowerment Awards, looking for solutions that improve quality of life for people with disabilities. From the minute I met Alex, I could just see that she was a really special individual. We helped her to start a recruitment company that places people with hearing impairments into employment.
I was not born deaf. I've got a voice. I can speak well. So when I lost my hearing, A lot of challenges and changes happened in my life. I was doing very well in my career. I had been sick with TB medication affecting both my auditory nerves. So when I lost my hearing, I came into contact with the deaf. That's when I saw firsthand the challenge that they face. And being an activist of long standing, I just couldn't let things go unchallenged. So that's when I decided to start Deaf Empowerment Firm so we can provide assistance to the deaf community and start changing the status quo. Here we have Lindiwe. Her sign name is Lindiwe. Lindiwe is my right-hand lady. Companies are missing out on a massive workforce. Our main aim is to ensure that they get sustainable work placements. We first have to upskill them so that they can stand a better chance when they compete with their counterparts in the open labor market. We then put them in sustainable employment, or we assist them to start businesses of their own. So that's in a nutshell what Deaf Empowerment Firm does.
She's placed more than 200 people with hearing impairment into employment, which is quite remarkable. We wanted to help her grow her business acumen because she'd never run a company before. So then Alex came onto the Tawana program and she was an amazing candidate.
I always say that Bridget is the midwife of Deaf Empowerment Firm. DF wouldn't be here today without the SAB Foundation. I was not an entrepreneur before. I was taught how to run a business, financial management skills, how to pitch my services to different clients. All the workshops that we attended in the Tawana Enterprise Development Program were such a big help.
Ketomena is one of the most overpopulated areas in Durban. Poverty lives here. All my life, I couldn't wait to get away from the rural areas. And when I got sick, I found myself without a job, without any income, and without food to put on the table. When you are undergoing a treatment, you need to eat something that's going to be nutritious. It meant organic. And I decided to grow my vegetables for myself. What I didn't know at the time was that the chickens from the neighbors were going to come and eat everything on site. You have to improvise, you have to be innovative. So with this system, before I knew it, I had a garden. All of a sudden, you've got so much vegetables that you cannot eat all of them. I never thought anything about business, so now you start selling to the neighbors. More people come, and then one day somebody says, I'm working in a restaurant, we can perhaps take your spinach. And that becomes a business. I was approached by one of the chain stores to start supplying at least 12 of their shops. I was like, I've made it. How wrong I was. I realized that I could not meet what they were asking for. I had to work with the cooperatives so that we could collectively supply. It grew. Today, their cooperatives are 95. Sustainability goes hand in hand with income generation. SAB Foundation got to me when I really needed them. I was able to build the company and more. They offer the mentorship. It's more important than you can ever understand. When you've got this guidance, it helps you. If every single household could have this system, you can't run out of vegetables. That's why my purpose in life is to stop hunger.
I saw how passionate these young people were. They had the spirit to conquer. And for me, they were a great inspiration.
From an early age, I played with Lego, the little bits that my mom could buy for me growing up in Soweto. So the idea for this wasn't even about a Sowetan boy. It was actually about every single African child from an underprivileged background. And with our idea around creating social innovators out of each and every one of these kids, we want them to be able to problem solve as well.
We've created 3,300 jobs so far. You've got this incredible potential for scale, replication, and to make a difference in the very long term.